All right, let's see about how we would model this piece and see how we can make this come to life.
Now, you don't put any measurements in here. I would go back and see if you couldn't find out what the measurements of this is. I mean, basically, I'm just going to build this real quick. Okay, so if I go from the front, I'm just going to make a box. And I don't know what the measurements of this box is because you don't post any measurements for that. But so what I would have a tendency to do is make sure this is snapped to the center. So it's the same on both ways. Okay, and that's going to sit on the ground. And then I could go ahead and determine that I wanted the, as a matter of fact, I think once I do this, I think I would just go ahead and convert it to a poly at this point. And then I can grab this and pull it up for however high I think this is going to be. Okay. Once I have that measurement of what that is, and my proportions are a little bit off, so it looks like it's a little bit longer, something like this, but I would measure this, to make sure it's correct. And so I'm making this board here. But I could do it with a plane or I could do it with a box. Either one would work. Okay, so once I have that, now I can divide this into boards. So if I come here and I ring this to get all of that, then I can go to my connect and I can say, well, how many boards is it? Okay, well, it's 4 boards. Okay, so I would want 4. This divided into 4. Actually divided into 3, which will give you 4 boards. And then I check that in. Now, I need this to be cut. Okay, so I hit the split button up here, and that'll cut that into pieces. Now, at that point, these are all individual boards. Okay, so now if I put a chamfer on this, and if this is going to be the low poly, I would leave it segmented like that. But I'd only want one segment. And then I'm determining here, I'm setting how thick that little bevel edge would be. Okay, but there's one drawback in here is you'll see there's no bevel through here. And that's because if I go in here and I move this up, you'll be able to see that it doesn't have an end to it. Okay, so when I cut this, it made it hollow. So the little trick to do in here is there's a modifier called cap holes. So if I go cap holes, then it's going to cap those. And now that chamfer will make those into individual boards. So these are all individual boards. And so there's all the boards to this side. Now later I can bake that down to 1 if I want to. It's just according, we have to determine what it is that we're going to do with this. But right now, that gets you your boards. And of course I can make them into the high poly boards by just doing the chamfer. And we need maybe 2 and then an inset. And then these would be your high poly boards that we're going to cast from. Okay, so now there's some shots of the end. Okay, now here's what's interesting is that on the end, the boards are not the same. See how they're not the same? So I could do a similar thing where let's just try this. I'm just going to make a copy of this. Oop, not an instance. A copy. And then let's just rotate this around. Put my angle snaps on. So it'll be 90 degrees. And move it down here. And then I'm going to modify it. So what's the easiest way to modify this? I think the easiest way is to dump the chamfer, dump the cap holes, and then I'm just going to weld this back together. So if I pick all the vertices and I hit weld, let's see where our weld settings is. Yeah, that should weld it together. And now this should be one thing again. So now I just want to rip these out. So I'm double clicking on them and then I'm holding Control Backspace. And now I'm going to manually, I'm going to come in here and go, well, I want a skinny one and so forth. And so I'm just going to use a swift loop and eyeball this. So it looks like there's a skinny board at the bottom and then two bigger boards and then a big board at the top. And then I can modify this. Okay, so if I'm on edge here, I can always slide these around. So if I don't double click, if I don't quite like the way that they are, which looks like to me this is small, these two are like the same. Maybe this one's a little bit bigger. So maybe something like that would be okay. And then I want, this is this button right here. When it's like this, where that dotted line crosses it, that means anything that I touch, it'll select. But if I click it so it's inside, then only what I select. And then I can pull this down to be the end. So it'll be thinner like that. And then we would do the same thing we did to that one, which would just double click. As a matter of fact, I may just clone this box. Hold down the shift and I'm just going to make a copy of it that I might use later. Okay, so now we just got to come in here, double click, hold the Control, double click, and then you split that. And then what we can do is go over here and let's go this, we're going to go the chamfer and the cap holes. I'm going to select them both. I'm going to go copy. And now I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to paste these as instances, which means whatever I do to one will do to the other. So that means later if I come in and decide, well, I want this to be the low poly, then I can come in and go, okay, zero this out, take that off, and it's doing the same thing to everything. Okay. All right, then you got, okay, so here's where that is an advantage, where I saved this box. So I'll make another copy of that. And let's just hide that one. So now we're going to rotate this. Make sure your angle snaps are on, and we're going to rotate this 90 degrees. And they go lengthways this way, so let's rotate it this way 90 degrees. And then I can move this up over, and let's switch to a front view where it's easier to see. I'm just doing this quick too. Okay, so now go to my edges and pull this down. So now that's the same length. And it's the same width as the other one. And now we've got a different set of situation here. So I can go back and do the same thing here. So I can come back and let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boards. So we got 4 here. So let's just go ahead and put another swift loop through here. And now I can slide these. I go, okay, well, this board's pretty big. And it's like they're bigger, and then the center one is skinnier. Oops. Make sure to double click. So the center one, double click. Click. I might move that over a little bit too. I mean, the thing about these boards are, you know, they'll have some fluctuations in them. So it looks kind of like that. Big, big, little, big, big. Okay. So same thing. We just go in here, and I would get out of the move tool. I would go up here to your selection tool. Control double click, control double click, control double click, split, and then I can go copy and paste, and then it's still got that I copied in there, and then there's boards for the top.
Okay, so let's see. All right, so now we have these cross boards. Okay, so let's just go here. I'm just going to create, let's just create a box. Create a small box here. And I want to be on this layer. Okay. Create a box. Okay, let's put a shader on it. Let's go ahead and get right up. Something about like this. Needs to be skinnier. Maybe something about like that. Okay, and then I can copy this off of it. And we need one on the other end. And maybe this is maybe it's a little thick. So maybe I'll bring it in just a little bit. And like I said, I'm just doing a proxy of where I'm lining these. I'm just kind of blocking this in. I'm making all these instances so that when I adjust one, it'll adjust them all. Okay, let's go ahead and make copies of these down to the other end. Okay, and then making those instances. Okay, and I need to instance this one down there too. And of course, you know, instances can always be converted to non-instances if I need to do that. So the benefit of the instance is if I change one, it changes them both. Okay, so that's boards on the end. Let's see, so that's these. And okay, so then we have ones on the sides that wrap across. So I can, in that case, I'll make a copy of one of these, like up here, and I'm going to do it as a copy. As a matter of fact, I don't want it up there. I want to do this. Pull it out here. Make this a copy. As a matter of fact, no, I'm going to make that an instance too. Okay, let's rotate that. Make sure we have angle snap on, and we'll rotate it 90 degrees. And then we'll slide it into place. Let's go to the top, be easier to place it. And looks like it's inside of those end boards. So inside of that. Okay, hold down my shift key, make another one down here. That's an instance, and then I'll take these two and I'll hold down the shift and copy them to this side. And I need an instance of this one too. Okay, bring these up somewhere right in there. Okay, and then we need to bring these to the center. So I'm going to slide this one over. You know, I could get in here to measure these, but as a matter of fact, I should do this where I pick this one and this one at the same time and move them over. Looks like somewhere around there. And this one over and somewhere around there. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, now I need to pull. I'll do two of these, hold down my shift, bring it up. These I'm going to make as copies. Rotate those, angle snap, 90 degrees. And then move that. And then bring these over. And yeah, so they're going to be on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and put an edit poly on this. And that way I can grab these vertices and pull them here and here. Okay. And then I need to, let's see, so the top comes all the way out. So let's put us an edit poly on this. We'll put it underneath the chamfer. And so then I need to pull these out. And this out is about right where it's at. Okay, and then these go up. So edit poly underneath the chamfer. And vertices. It looks like to me, before I do that, this needs to come down. So let's pull all of these down a little bit. Okay, now I can pull that up. And it goes right underneath that one. No, it goes up in front. So it goes up to here. Okay, and I'm assuming, let's look. Did they give us? Okay, I'm assuming that this goes around the bottom too, because you can see a shadow here, so you can see this is kind of floating up. So I think the same thing that's here is on the bottom too. So we're going to take these two, hold down the shift, drag it down, make these instances And so we're going to have to do something. Actually, I think those will come down like this. And these need to come down to there. Okay, that's starting to come together. All right, so on these ends here, let's see this. So what have we got? Is the ends? Okay, the ends meet up to the sides. So these sides are supposed to come down. Okay, so let's see, that's the right side. So same thing, I'm put edit poly here. Actually, I don't need to, I can go here. And now pull these out here and here. No, I take it back. They go in, don't they? They're inside of the side ones are on top, so they go there. And in here. I need to hide this one and that one to get this right. Okay, so back to here. Ooh, come on now. Don't be like that. Come on. All right, these come inside of that right there. And that's what I have over here. Okay, like so. And then these come down. So this is the left side. No. Front. And so these come all the way to the end. Like that. Okay, so I need to pull these in. So they slide in there like that. Yeah, like so. Okay, and then we don't really, I don't think we know what the bottom looks like at all. No shots of that. So we're just going to assume that the top and bottom are the same. So I'm just going to call that down. And let's go here. And let's hide that for a second. So this goes right inside of that. Okay, let's go back. Alright, so the top goes all the way down. So this needs to come down to these guys here. And I need the same down here, just a little. Okay. I think that's sort of it. Except for these don't stick down. So this goes up. Okay, so see, there's a problem, is that these go down, these do not. So this is where we have to go in, and I have to make these unique. And I have to make these unique. Okay, so now if I take all of these and put an edit poly on these now, and I think I can individually take this under the chamfer on each one of these so that I can adjust it before the chamfer. It's okay if I adjust it afterwards, but it just means that then I can't adjust the chamfer later. Okay, so now I can go up with this, and I can do if I pick both of these and pick both of these, vertex, and then if I pull one up, now I got to pull them all up, but I can do them all at the same time. Yeah, like that. Okay. These are too tall up here. I need to do the same thing. Let's go here. Let's pick all of these. Pull them down. Okay. I think that's it. I think that's it. That's it. I think that's our crate. Oh, did I not get? Look, I didn't get that vertex when I pulled those down. Okay, now let's pull them down. Off. Okay, that's good enough for government work. Oh man, what's up with this? I keep doing that. Yikes. Okay, what's up? It already had that one picked, is what it was. All right, then I can adjust them a little bit more later if I need to, but that's pretty much the crate right there. Okay, I kind of got a mess over here right now, so I want to hide a bunch of this stuff. And I'm going to take all of this, and I'm going to put this in a new layer. And so this is final crate. I'll come back and name the parts later. And then what I want to do is clone this. So I'm going to go to clone. Click OK. And then make a new layer of that. And this is going to be final crate collapsed. Okay, and so I'm going to convert these all to editable polys. And now I'm going to export that. So File, export, export selected. And this is going to be crate 3. Okay. And let's go and bring that up into Sketchfab. Okay, so there is the file. Let's go do some editing. All right, let's give it a background. Go with something about like that. Okay, and what else I need to do? I need to go to light, and let's put a shadow underneath it, and let's go here. Let's make it a wood. And let's see, a little more red, a bit darker, a little bit more, say something like that for our color, and I'll make it a little bit glossier just for the fun of it. Okay, so there we go. We'll look at, let's see about maybe change in, I don't know, what's this look like? Yeah, kind of like that. I'll work with that. Okay, set up my thumbnail, so I like to see a little bit of the top. So maybe something like this, kind of center it up, save my thumbnail. And there we go. There's box number 3. Okay, like I said, this is just kind of a quick blocking. I'll come in and make adjustments and stuff, and as we're getting our high poly and low poly parts finalized, but this kind of gets us blocked out, and that's what I'm looking for. All right, thank you.